All right, this is Lord Demos here. This time I'm supposed to speak about R2D2. I have a bronchitis, so got a little cough whenever I talk too much, so just bear with me. Um, when it comes to R2D2, I view him as a manifestation of the Force, and not exactly saying he was per se created by the Force. I see him more as the character the Force surrounds. And without certain events taking place, that R2 influenced himself directly, a lot of things within the Star Wars universe were never played out. I mean, how many times did R2 himself save Luke or Anakin or anyone just by doing what just doing? But the Force needed these characters to perform certain acts, certain things that had to be accomplished. R2D2 was the one who was pretty much pulling all the little levers that they needed done. Luke would have never survived the trash compactor if it wasn't for R2D2. I mean, that right there could have ended the whole thing. Think about it. If Luke died right there, bam, problem solved. Vader still walking around, Emperor Palpatine ruling the galaxy still. Nothing would have changed. They would have just lost the princess and two other people in the freaking trash compactor. They'd be like, oh, well, that sucked. But it was R2D2's influence throughout the entire sagas that he's involved in, that he changed the events of everything. I mean, C3PO was saved by him so many times, it's unbelievable. And also, he personally ignored, even though he cared for C3PO, he ignored him over what he thought was correct. I mean, and that's another thing to point out is that that each droid, even though they're programmed to do certain things, they have personalities. Even the battle droids, they each had a personality to them. So, and what makes so many people and kids love R2D2 is his personality. He's this cute little robot, but he's fierce, he's smart, he's intelligent, and he does what he needs to do and he focuses on it. And no matter what goes on, he stays on task. I mean, all these battles and everything going on around him, he's dragging C3PO's head going, I'm going to fix you, dude, don't worry. Why would he? I mean, he didn't care. He doesn't care. And if someone tried to get involved with that process, he would have probably killed him. Why? Because that was how R2D2 operated. It wasn't that he saw that, oh, you needed to die. He just saw you're in the way, I need to fix this. But his influence throughout all of it was what needed to happen. What things, certain circumstances that could have never played out if it wasn't for him. He was literally like the Force surrounded him and made him their little chess piece to play out all these parts. Without R2D2, a lot of the events were never played out. I mean, he held the battle plans to the freaking Death Star, and he didn't reveal that at all to anyone. Even C3PO didn't know what the hell was going on. He just knew he ended up on a freaking desert planet now, gets kidnapped by these Jawas, then he gets sold to Luke and them, and he was trying to figure out what the hell was going on. R2D2, he's just like, look, I know what's going down. I'm waiting to get to a certain point, and then I got work to do. He had a mission. He had a goal. He waited until Luke was asleep, and then he left. He knew what had to be done. But think about it. If he didn't leave, Luke and them would have been killed, and that would have just stopped that part of the series. R2 was the reason Luke and C3PO left. Yes, it didn't protect Uncle Owen and all them, but the point still stands is R2 was the cause of them leaving. They had to go look for the droid. But here's the thing. Now this proves this. Everyone talks about, well, did they erase R2's memory, or did they forget to? No, I think they actually tried to erase his memory. But he keeps backups of backups of backups. I guarantee you they thought they erased everything, and he just reprogrammed himself right back to normal. Because when he meets Ben and them, R2 even points out he used to be owned by Obi-Wan. And he's like, I never owned a droid, which was true. Well, Obi-Wan never technically owned R2D2. But it was the point of he recognized Obi-Wan and knew who he was. C-3PO didn't. R2's memory was never truly wiped because they did not get all of it. He had backups to backups. I mean, even at the end of The Rise of Skywalker, when they talked about for C-3PO to translate that knife, he would lose all his memory. Who put his memory back in? R2D2. Who knew where Luke was? R2D2. R2D2 has so much influence within their entire events. This little freaking droid. There's no weapon droid. This thing was literally designed to fix starships. Is causing more influence, more changes within the galaxy than the people around him. Because if he wasn't there, they would never got most of their goals done. Luke literally put him in his ship to help guide him. So did Anakin. A lot of them did it. Hell, Yoda used R2D2 when he went on his little personal quest to see the wells, the Force wells. It was R2D2 who he took with him. R2D2 knows more than any other droid or any other being within the Star Wars galaxy of what the hell is actually going on. He was more influenced by the Force than anyone else around. He was literally like the Force's little chess piece. He moved the right places at the right time. He moved everything so perfectly. It was just phenomenal. Literally, watch all the movies. Watch the shows. And think about it. If R2 wasn't right there, what would have happened? What would have changed that? I mean, the whole point of when Queen Amidala was leaving from Episode 1, leaving her planet, who was the battle droid the droid that saved him? R2D2. And that's how his whole saga began. This was not the saga of Skywalker. This is all about R2D2. Because his influence changed everything. He was the reason for every little thing that played out. He kept up with all the information. He knows he could literally pull out crap on everybody. He had files and memories on everybody. He didn't, because that wasn't at priorities. He didn't care about what was going on, snitching or anything. Like, to him, it was still programming. He looked at it as his job was to support the good guys, the Republic, the Rebels, all these characters that he was associated with. So when Anakin turned Darth Vader, he knew. He just didn't care. He just like, okay, now you're against them, so you're against me. He just left it alone. Yoda even recognized R2D2. When Luke landed on Dagobah, he recognized him. R2 recognized Yoda. That's why they messed with each other. It was a game. It was just like a little old friend seeing each other again. R2D2, to me, is what the Force needed to be done. I personally believe the Force, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to do a Force video, but that could come later, is the Force isn't some magical thing. It has emotional needs, and it has like, not saying it's like a person, I'm just saying the universe, no matter what religion, everything, is balanced. And for certain things to be balanced, certain things had to play out. Like I explained in the last video, the Skywalkers balanced everything over time. But that was their purpose. But how they got to do it all was all because of what R2D2 was achieving for them. Because that was the Force literally putting its chess pieces where it needs to be. And he was a major player. I mean, literally watch every movie and you will see every influence that character had. Even in the freaking Force Awakens, he's not in there very long. But as soon as he wakes up, bam, he's like, look, there's Luke. He knew. He didn't care. He had an objective. Wait until a certain point, then show it all. he didn't care. But once he woke up, he was back involved. He was doing all kinds of crap again. But that was the point. R2D2 is a force dictated creature. A being that even though he was a freaking robot, it didn't matter. He was a droid. It didn't matter. The force still surrounds everything. So the force surrounded him. And it was a way to move the chessboard the way the force wanted the chessboard to play out. And they just look at it as, oh, this droid's great and cool and he does all this stuff. No, but why? He was just influenced. The force needed a person to represent them without no one even noticing it. And there it was. R2D2 was the force, is pretty much its emissary without anyone even knowing. Even R2D2 doesn't know what the hell why he's doing. He just does what he's supposed to do. Alright guys, I'm going to let y'all know, starting next month, I'm going to do Lord of the Rings. I'll start probably doing Star Wars back in coming March. I'm going to do January, I'm going to work on Lord of the Rings. February is my youngest's birthday month, so I'm going to let her kind of choose a subject that I'm going to talk on. But Star Wars will be back on the plate in March. But let's do Lord of the Rings. Now, I have 3 things I can talk about on that. I'll let y'all choose over the next couple weeks. First is the orcs and how they came about. There are so many mythologies within the Tolkien thing, but Tolkien never specifically said how the orcs were created. There's like 2 or 3 ways it could have happened. I'm going to give my personal opinion on it. What I think played out. Then I could talk about the rings. The rings of power and the One Ring. Was it really necessary to create them to conquer the realms? Or was this a plan that Sauron came up with because he couldn't pull off what his master could pull off? Or I can do what was Gollum's purpose. Was he necessary for everything to play out? Or was he just someone there that was so pathetic that you sympathize with him? I see him as something more than just a sympathetic character. I think he had what he represented in his role in the entire thing was much grander. But I'll let y'all decide, let y'all vote. In another 2 weeks, we'll start on Lord of the Rings. Until then, y'all enjoy y'all holidays. I know I enjoyed mine. Of course, as you see, you see my rings and everything. So my kids and my wife got me stuff. I'm a happy person right now. So I hope y'all enjoy y'all holidays and see y'all next year. All right. Goodbye.